Deepa Malik, President of the Paralympic Committee of India, is joining us now on the show. Deepa ji, great to speak to you again. We had a chance to speak before the contingent went off for Tokyo, and I remember you saying that I think that we will do our best this time around. That's exactly what has happened.
Yes, indeed. I had full faith in the athletes and their preparation. The way this time a scientific approach and a holistic approach has been taken under the Target Olympic Podium scheme, and how the federation has become athlete centric now. The fact that they have put me on the president's chair, it makes it very easy to fill the gap between the athletes and the administration. I could bridge that gap and have a clear communication as to what athletes wanted. And along with everybody's support, we were able to translate it into their training. Kudos to their coaches, whether it was pandemic situation, whether we had any kind of restrictions in the training, or they had their own personal issues, because every family has undergone some kind of the or other tragedy. Recently Sumit Antil had lost his brother, and Devendra Jhajaria lost his father to cancer. So there's been a lot of upheaval, emotional upheavals. Sundar Gujar has carried the baggage of missing out a medal at Rio Paralympics by a delay of 40 seconds in reaching the call room. Everyone has had this this whole journey in last 5 years, ever since 2016 Rio Paralympic has happened. But that's what I'm saying, it was a wonderful example of good teamwork, whether we talk about policies, whether we talk about support from the government, we talk about communication with the athletes from the federation side, their coaches who have worked tirelessly with them, the funding that has come, the support of Sports Authority of India, everything when has been combined together. And what is, the difference that I have seen over a period of time. I have been playing now for 15 years. And officially, I have not retired. It's only I have taken a break because I am the president at the moment, and I have to focus in the administration part. But the ministers are so hands-on, whether you take ever since Rajyavardhan Rathore ji came, he himself a medalist from Olympics. Kiran Rijiju sir, he was just so connected to everyone in person. He was following every athlete's journey in person. And now
No,
Anurag
absolutely. So Deepa ji, clearly we've seen. Yeah, clearly we've seen a difference in terms of, administration, focus, and I'm sure that helped a lot. But talk to me about the athletes themselves, these remarkable individuals who have overcome all kinds of obstacles to reach the pinnacle of their sport. I mean, an Avni Lekhara, Sumit Antil, like you told us, he, battled personal tragedy as well. What has been that X factor which has made this medal haul so special with 2 golds?
The X factor has been a holistic approach to training, and the athlete now is evolved. The athletes are educated. They are making an effort to learn what is their requirement to become an international standard athlete, where at the competition ground, when they go, they are going for a medal and not just for a participation. So that is the X factor, the hunger for the medal. And the fact that now India can play, and there have been a lot of barriers in the mind that have been shattered in the Indian mind, and athletes, for example, Bhavina has trained with a robot. We have never heard a Divyang person playing with a robot and have a scientific approach in the training. You talk about Avni, her coach, Suma Sharur, very educated, highly educated, and the continued focus and the discipline. And I think chairpersons of the STCs, JP Nautiyal ji, the way he has been a father figure to the whole contingent. So it has been a lot of involvement, and uh, the athlete now knows that there is a future in sports. The athlete knows that there are amazing rewards, incentives, a career. It is not just that the person is taking leave, going and coming back. The athlete sees the entire country connected and applauding and appreciating. So these things combine to give athlete that inspiration and X factor. And all these athletes individually are
Yeah.
a story of inspiration, grit, and determination.
Absolutely. You spoke about a holistic approach which included funding for, of course, training of these athletes and then the prospects of a career. Has that really changed? Where is this funding coming from? And is there now a clear pipeline for the kind of funding required to train top class athletes?
I would definitely like to thank government for the funding schemes through the Target Olympic Podium scheme. Every athlete, as per policy, was absorbed in the Target Olympic Podium scheme. They were given the liberty to customize their training. There was a lot of sensitization and sensitivity towards their disability. If they needed a certain comfort zone, because certain people have spinal cord injuries, they have bladder issues, bowel issues, so they need a family member around as a personal attendant and escort. So that was provided for them. Their needs were understood. If they felt comfortable with a certain trainer, trainer's funding and fees was provided for. Coaches have also made an effort to kind of increase their knowledge, become more world performance oriented rather than following the stereotypical old methods of training. Otherwise, coaches would only become a one man show. They would never. I have had problems like that in my career, where if you went to a physiotherapist, now being a spinal cord injury with spastic paralysis, I have to be regularly under physiotherapy along with the training. But they would not accept any outsider. Even a physiotherapist or a conditioning coach or a nutritionist were looked upon as a person who's going to take away the athlete, So that has also changed. And when you talk about funding, where's the funding coming?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to make an appeal here. I would really like to make an appeal through your channel here to everyone who's watching that we need funding. It's only through, government support or the stakeholders that right now athletes are struggling to do what they are, but we need to develop the sport at the grassroots level. We need to evolve more infrastructure, and corporates can really come forward. And now look at the popularity of para sports. I know there is a deliverance involved when a brand comes on board, but there is enough deliverance. I mean, imagine a prime minister is tweeting for the athletes. The entire nation is cheering. They're waking up early to watch a para sports person, and they're questioning if somebody has been disqualified and not earned a medal. I'm really tired answering to the question why so and so has not made it to the medal. So this involvement has come, visibility has come. Now more and more hands have to come together to support the funding.
Talking about the future and the kind of career these sports people have, where do you think that is, Deepa ji? And what kind of an inspirational message is this for the differently abled in our country today?
If you talk about the career prospects, well, I'll be very open in saying that, of course, we do have to work a lot in the grassroots levels, but an elite athlete today gets tremendous amount of funding and support. When you become a Paralympian and when you have achieved certain medals, there is a definite secured future career for you. most of the sports policies absorb you in government jobs, A-grade jobs. You get handsome cash rewards, and trust you me, I hail from the state of Haryana. When I was playing for the country, one of the highest cash rewards that are given in our country, and very fast all the states are adopting the cash reward policy. Of course, central government is offering that. So when you have so much of cash incentives, when you have respect incentives, when you have recognition, and when you also secure your future with a job under the policy, I think that is the future of every athlete here today. At least today, I can say that with a lot of conviction. And my message to all the people with disability is that yes, we have a challenge, but we also now have opportunities in the new India, at 75. Hone a skill. I mean, I was just a housewife and a mother of two, but I made an effort to learn a skill. I learned swimming, I learned driving, I learned biking. Then, when swimming didn't work for me, I learned javelin. When javelin was not there, I threw a shot put. In as late as 48 years of age, I learned discus and made a medal in Para Asian Games. So keep learning and look for your abilities beyond your disabilities. And that's what each athlete has done. Who is here in the 54 of them, all of them have spent hours of training, and they have developed the skills. Whether Avni is just 19, barely at 15, she had become physically challenged, a young teenager who met with an accident, and instead of sulking and instead of crying over what had gone wrong in her body, this young girl emerged as a confident individual through sports. She took a rifle, and there, look at her. She's won a gold. She's created history. Sumit Antil was going to go and become a wrestler. And such a tall man, handsome boy, and he meets with an accident, and then he transits, adapts to the change, accepts the change, and again evolves as a winner. I mean, every story is like that. And we talk about Ekta Bhayan. She even completed her studies and became a HCS officer in the government of Haryana. And now she's here going to represent the country in the Paralympics. Every story is inspirational and worth a biopic.
Amazing message there. Thank you so much, Deepa Malik, for speaking with us. That lost bronze that Deepa Malik was referring to, of course, is discus thrower Vinod Kumar, who was declared ineligible in classification reassessment. And she's right, there's so much interest about it today. We're watching the Paralympics, we're cheering on our athletes, and hopefully this is a wider message to go and look at your ability beyond your disability. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.